back from the dead.
Hey guys, sorry if I'm coming off like a little bit awkward, I guess. I literally started this video a minute ago and then just stopped because it was just a travesty. It was a mess. So I'm starting this again. So basically, with this video, I kind of wanted to cover something that I realised today. And that is, it was mainly because of Facebook memories that'll come up and remind you of stuff from like this year ago, or 2 years ago, whatever. And it's kind of a weird, not anniversary, but like, well, yeah, I guess it technically classes as an anniversary of probably one of the lowest moments of my life. One of them anyway. But it's like a positive as well, because it caused me to realise what was wrong with myself, being at that lowest point. And like, I obviously worked on that, and I just realised, like, today it just made me really want to go through like all of those posts, those messages, and just like not relive it, but like for some weird reason I just really wanted to go through like everything from that time frame, from now until next month, obviously a year ago, and like what I was going through, because next month is the anniversary of when I lost the baby. So I'm dreading that, because you never get over that. Like, that's just something you just carry with you forever. But yeah, I just really wanted to go through like everything. I think I even went, because I never use it, but I went onto Snapchat to look at like what pictures I was taking, because I did used to take like pictures of me like crying and whatever and just save them. I didn't do anything with them, because my Snapchat is ridiculously private, to the point where I think I've only got like 4 people on there, because I just don't use it. I literally haven't used it in like a year. So it was crazy to go back on it and just like see all of this, and I went through all of my text messages from that time frame. Like, I searched the date and I just went through them all from this month to next month from last year, if that makes any sense. Hopefully I did make sense. And it just hit me so hard how noticeably different I am now as a person. Like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, obviously I knew that I'd progressed, but like, it's insane. It's actually insane how different of a person I am. So that's why the main reason why I wanted to make like a video about it. I did post something on Facebook, but I'm not going to read it, because obviously that's a private place for just my friends and family again. And I don't think I mention any names, but like, obviously the people on there know what I'm talking about anyway. But it was just kind of basically stuff that I wanted to cover in this video. Like, after I posted it, I was like, I need to like make a video about it as well, because I like to have these to look back on. And like I say, it would have been easier to have something like this to look back on, rather than going through all my messages and everything else. I mean, it's still good to do that sometimes, but I don't know, I just felt like I needed to do it. And I'm going to use this as like a cue though of what I want to cover. Looking back at like that time, it is crazy, like how, like, the way I describe it here is, I just come across as, I'm mainly talking about like my text messages now between me and a person who I don't talk about anymore, but it was crazy because that was like a main trigger for me to, it was like a kick up the arse, really. Like, I realised I was so low, and I just thought, on top of everything else that I was already carrying around with me, which I've already covered in a previous video, like what I'd been through at that time, it's like this was the starting point for me healing and becoming a better person. It was long overdue. I'm first to admit that, because obviously I'd carried most of it around most of my life. But those events were like, it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. That's a great way of describing it, because I was already carrying so much stuff. And on this day, a year ago, I was still like pregnant. I was aware I was pregnant. And I was going through so much stuff because obviously, like I said in my previous video, I wasn't with that person anymore. And I was just so stressed out because of it. Like, I don't know. Some of like how I reacted could have been down to hormones, I guess. But I think probably like 80% of it was just how I was at that time as a person. I really do think that. And yeah, like I say, looking at this stuff and reading through the messages that was going backwards and forwards between me and this person, it just really did click in my head, like, wow, like, you are so different now. It's unreal. Like, me, it's crazy. So at that point, I listed myself as like in this post, because I'm going to use those words because I just wrote this out like as I was thinking it, like just after reading these messages. So I'll use it, like I say, as a cue. So I was very distraught. I was very cut off. I was extremely depressed. Let's face it, we all knew that. I was beyond needy. That is a very good word, because I was acting almost desperate to not lose this person from my life. And I'll try and remember to come back to that later. If I don't, I'll put something at the bottom of the screen when I feel it's relevant. Because I know that my memory is shit. Hence this. Yeah, I was very needy, and I wasn't even acting like a normal human being would, because I was just not in a good place mentally. And yeah, because I was at my lowest point, like, reading the messages made me realise, like, I was reading my replies and his messages and whatever, and I was just sitting there thinking, okay, so why did you write that about myself? Sorry, I just got a notification through. Sorry about that. Thought I'd switch that off. I was thinking, why did you say that back? Or why did you say this? And I was just sitting there thinking, this is not how I would react now as a person. It's insane, like, how different I am. It's so crazy. And, like, I realised that, like, I don't randomly burst into tears anymore. I don't, get so depressed that I can't function. Like, obviously I still get sad, but I definitely don't think I get so depressed. And I haven't done for a really long time, since I sorted myself out. And, like, I just feel like, I don't know. I did remember going back to me saying, like, I was so needy and desperate to not lose this person. That is what I said, right? Oh my god, I'm gonna watch this back in editing and be like, that's not what you said. If it's not, sorry, I'll write something here. I'm pretty sure that's what I was gonna come back to. At that point in my life, the reason I behaved that way to this person was because that's genuinely how I felt. Like, I was just not in a good place anyway when I met this person. And I didn't know who I was, or, I didn't accept myself. I was very needy and very, not necessarily, well, yeah, desperate to keep that person in my life, because I'd relied on them so much. Like, I'd poured my heart and soul out to this person. I just touched my mic, sorry if that clicked. I poured my heart and soul out to this person. I'd confessed, like, all of the, you know, the buttons that just trigger you in the worst way. And I don't know, I'd not done that with anyone else. Like, I just felt really comfortable, and for some reason just really, well, I know why, like, why I felt so attached to him. It was because, you know, I loved him. I'd never felt like that before, and I was terrified. So being terrified of that feeling on top of everything else was just not good. Like, it was just not a good situation to be in. And it's crazy now, because now I'm like, I don't need someone like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, in that way, I mean, not, you know, him as a specific person. I just mean, like, I don't need someone anymore. You know, I don't feel so scared to go through stuff by myself. I've gone through so much stuff this past year by myself that I never thought I could go through, and I went through it, and I'm fine. Like, I picked myself up and I fucking sorted myself out. And reading through all of that stuff, I must have done it before, because literally it's like I said, I think I said it in my other video, I wanted to apologise to him about certain things. Well, I'll cover that a little bit more in this video, because I realised what, like, I was trying to convey with all of that. And basically that is that I saw myself from his perspective for the first time. All of the things that I was, like, doing and reacting to, and I sit here and I'm reading them and I'm thinking, why did you do that? Why did you react that way? Like, why didn't you just ignore that, or, you know, say, you're being ridiculous, I don't want to talk to you right now, and just leave it? Why did I, you know, there were so many different ways that I could have reacted that would have been so much better than just getting so hurt, like, and just pouring it out and acting like, well, terrified. Like, so terrified that I was, like, panicking, and you could just see it. And I almost cringe now when I look at that stuff, because I'm like, girl, what the f are you doing? Like, you are panicking, like, in a hateful way almost, because I was panicking that, you know, I knew that this wasn't working out and that I didn't want to be in this situation anymore. And obviously he probably, well, he did feel the same, because he, you know, did what he did. But, like, and I was really standoffish, and I was really, like, nasty back, and there was a lot of stuff that he definitely should not have said to me and was really nasty. But at the end of the day, I should not have retaliated with that, you know? And it's like, my panic, in a way, we were quite similar, because he was, looking back now, I can see that he was panicking about the fact that he was losing someone. I don't think it was necessarily, you know, oh, he loved me so much, me. I'm not going to sit here and say that, because I'm not him. I don't have a clue what was going through that boy's head. I still don't. I don't even want to know. No, whatever. But, like, you could tell that he was panicking too, and, you know, it came out in anger. And I retaliated in the same way, and over, like, just reading other things as well, just unnecessary stuff that I was saying and doing, and it was just like, why were you doing that? Why it's not healthy. And I realise that now. So when I said, I'm doing really good with my points today. When I said that I wanted to apologise to him, it was because it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to apologise, it was more that I wanted to almost, well, yeah, I did want to apologise for that, because even though, you know, someone's shitty to you, it doesn't mean you should be shitty back, you know, and you should apologise for that, because that makes you just as bad as them, you know, and if you apologise for it and they don't, that's their issue. But really, you should both apologise, whatever. Like I said before, life doesn't always happen that way. can't do anything about it, whatever, move on. Which I wish I was like before, but no, I wasn't. So that's the whole point in this. And it wasn't so much that I wanted to like apologise, even though, yeah, I can do that. It was more that I'm almost like thankful in a weird way that I went through that. And that I did lose this person from my life. Well, yeah, I did lose this person because, you know, yeah, okay, we weren't together anymore and whatever, but we always thought that we would just be around each other and always be friends and whatever, because we did, well, I did love and care about him so much. And there was always like this weird thing that we would come up with where it would be like we just couldn't imagine not being together later, or do you know what I mean? It was just, I don't know how to explain that really, because back then I would have told you it was because we were soulmates. I mean, I do still think that, but you don't necessarily have to like your soulmate. And I definitely don't like mine. So who knows whether that's what that is. I don't know. But we just always had that in our heads. And I think he was scared to lose a person from his life, even if, whether he did love me or not. You know, in your life, whether you love someone or you don't, like, if you're really close to someone and all of a sudden they're not there anymore, because this was 4 years and we were in each other's lives like every single day in one way or another. We spoke to each other every single day for 4 years, regardless of what the hell else was going on in our lives. 4 fucking years. It's only been this last year that I have literally had to block him on everything, because I couldn't, you know, I needed this space to, like, you know, because all the other times I tried, we did end up talking again, and sometimes we ended up back together on and off. Like I said, it was on and off. That's not the point of this video. We've already covered that story as much as I want to. But it's almost like I feel like I need to thank him, because if I hadn't have gone through all of that and lost someone so important to me, like, I have no shame in admitting that. Like, I may not like him right now. I may hate him a little bit. Well, I hate him. I may not like him. I may not speak to him. But I can sit here and admit that I loved that boy to, like, beyond this world. Like, I loved him so fucking much. And we just matched so well in so many weird ways. And like I said, I did feel like we were soulmates. But I do definitely think that we just met at completely the wrong time in both of our lives. Not just me, but him. I'm admitting and I say that I have always been screwed up. To be fair, he knew that anyway. He's definitely screwed up in his own way too. There's a lot of stuff that he's just not dealt with and not dealing with, and that's on him. We're not going to cover that. We're not going to go into that because it's no one's business. And it's like, it's crazy to me how different of a person I am in a positive way. I can't say that I've noticed that about him. I mean, again, that's on him. I don't really hear great things, but that's his life. I'm sad that he's not also took this route and done this. But that's, you know, again, whatever. But I, you know, even though I feel the way that I feel now, right now, because certain things were said and shouldn't have been said, and I still didn't get an apology, you know, whatever. I mean, I did block him, so, but there wasn't an attempt. Do you know what I mean? There just wasn't an attempt. I can still say that, like, I felt that for that person, and it was scary to lose someone, and I feel like that's probably why he reacted the way that he did as well. I think it was a little bit of fear, but he definitely took it a little bit too far that last time, and that is why I am feeling the way that I feel right now. But I openly admit that, like, you know, he did mean the world to me, and I was scared. But it took that... This is the point of this whole little thing. It took that, and it took losing that person from my life, someone that meant that much to me, to be a huge kick up my ass, to be like, you have such a bad... And it is, to be fair, most of it was depression. Like, some of it was to do with self-hate. maybe a lot of it was to do with self-hate. Like I said, that situation didn't really help because it wasn't stable. Could I have reached this point years ago with that person's support? Probably. We'll never know. Bit jarring, but I'm fucking glad that I did it. And to be fair, I'm kind of glad I did it by myself, because it did make me realise that I looked at him in a weird way, in the sense that, or at least it came across that I needed him in my life to exist and to be happy. And now I'm like, I don't think that that was what I meant to convey. It might have been true to an extent, but now it's like, when I'm with someone, it's because I want to be with them. It's not because I need them. It's not because I feel like I need anyone. It's because I want to. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I can convey that better now that I'm healthier. But before, I definitely just came across like, you know, I don't want anything to do with you because you scare me. We need to like take a few steps back, like we did, on and off, on and off. And then it would come across that like, oh, but, you know, I need you to stay around. I need you to be there because, you know. And that itself made me realise he probably felt really shitty because of that. Because he probably felt like I didn't necessarily care about him. It was just a person in my life that I depended on. Does that make any sense? I feel like it kind of does. And it took a lot, and it takes a lot for me to admit that, like, I probably made him feel really shitty with that. Completely unintentionally, though, I might add. So, yeah, okay, some of the stuff he was doing wasn't intentional. Some of it was definitely intentional. Most of mine was definitely unintentional, because I definitely don't like hurting other people. And as soon as I realised how much, like, how I was feeling and what I was going through, and my depression especially, was hurting other people around me, because it is hard to see someone go through that. It's hard to lose people because of it, you know? And I feel like if I wasn't so depressed and, you know, so hurt about the smaller things and so defensive, the things probably would have been different there. Who knows? I mean, the situation was still crappy, so I don't know what would have happened there. But, like, I don't know, I'm just so much happier with, like, how I've dealt with it, and the fact that everyone around me now doesn't feel like, or at least I don't think they do, they've definitely noticed a change. You know, they don't feel like I'm a depressed person anymore, because I'm not. You know, people still come to me like they always have, and I still always try and help people, but I feel like I needed to go through that to sort myself out. And I think most people kind of reach a point where they're like, shit, this is too much. Like, yeah, okay, it's enough for me, but like, well, it's too much for me to carry around, but it's actually affecting the people around me that I love and care about. Like, shit, I need to sort this out. So, yeah, okay, it's not always great to do stuff for other people, but ultimately you are helping yourself. So that's why I feel like thankful in a weird way for that. I don't know, it's really hard to explain. Like, I'm thankful to have seen myself through his eyes, even though he probably doesn't even realise that I've done that through his messages and, you know, other stuff as well. Like, I've been able to take a step back. Him just as an example, like, obviously I'm talking about other people in my life as well, because obviously it hurts your family when you're really depressed and you just want to die, you know, because they care about you, they love you. You might not see that because you're so depressed. You might think that you're, you know, not worth it, that they'll be better off without you, but ultimately that's because you're so blindsided by how you feel. This is why a lot of people don't understand depression. They're like, oh, this person had so much. And it's like, yeah, they do. But in that moment, it's such a dangerous illness, because you are like this and all you see is pain. You cannot see that you've got all these people around you that love you and care about you. And, you know, it just takes one little break in that for the clouds to part slightly, for your family to be there, or your friends, or your partner, whatever. for you to realise that there are other people around you that are being affected by this, and actually hurts them quite a lot to see you go through that. And if you weren't around, it could really affect other people to the point where they might not want to be here anymore. And I needed that kick up the arse. It sucks that, like, you know, things ended up like that, because like I say, I did invest a lot of, well, obviously 4 years. But like, I don't know, I'm still thankful that I had that to kick me up the arse. Obviously it's still sad that like that happened, but I feel like I say, everyone has that point where it's just the straw that breaks the camel's back, you know? And sometimes it's really small, and sometimes it's really fucking big, like losing someone, or, you know, a baby, or, you know? And sometimes it's just that you've broken your favourite fucking mug. And then it's just like, that's it, that's too much, I can't handle it. And you think, I need to offload some of this somehow. And you just start small, and it's crazy how much a small thing that you sort out can just, it's like a chain reaction. Sometimes, not always. It's like a chain reaction. Maybe I got lucky. Maybe I just figured out a couple of things that were like really shit. That were, you know, actually quite, because to be fair, like I say, it took today and looking through all that stuff to really realise how far I've actually come, because I feel like it's been really small steps, to the point where I've not even really noticed it until now. How colossal, and I'm talking colossal, this actually is of a change. I never thought I would get to this point, like never. And like, it's weird to be at a point like where I do accept myself, I know myself, I know that the fear of losing someone that I love so much and care about so fucking much, that, you know, I do feel like is the other half of my soul, I came out the other side of that, you know? I survived that. And it's shitty, but I did it, you know? And some of it was my doing, some of it was definitely his doing, you know, whatever, life happens. But like, now, if I meet someone and I feel like they're my entire world or whatever, I'm not convinced there's someone else out there that is my soulmate. Like I say, you can hate your soulmate. You have to like them for them to be your soulmate. And I definitely hate him right now, which is sad, but whatever. But like, if I meet someone who I do feel like is my world and whatever, I'm not going to be consumed by fear of losing them, because I know that, yeah, it's gonna fucking suck to lose someone that I care about and that I love, but like, I've survived my personal worst time in my entire life, because it was just so much all at once. And I do kind of feel a little bit fearless in that sense. Not fully, because obviously there's certain people in my life, like my family, that when I lose will be a whole new battle for me to stay alive, because fuck, that's gonna destroy me, you know? But like, right now, with the way things are, like, I have faced my demons. I have faced my demons. Yes, I still carry them around with me, but they don't scare me anymore. They're not these scary things that are looming over me, ruining my life, making me react certain ways, you know, making me so fucking annoying at times to deal with, because I'm just stuck in this negative headspace and I can't get out of it, you know? That must have been so frustrating for people. Even him, for fuck's sake. It must have been frustrating, you know? And it's like, you know, I'm still carrying them around because, you know, certain shit happens to you that builds you as a person, and it's fucked up and it's in your past and you can't change that. So they're your little demons, whatever. But like, they don't need to be, you know, looming over you, terrifying, making you fear everything, making you fuck up everything, you know? Now I feel like they're just little things on my shoulder that I can be like, fuck off, you know? They're still there, but I can flick them off and just be like, I'm not listening to you today. I don't need that, you know? which is cool. And I've never felt that way. Never. Until now. And it's great. And that was the whole point in this video. Sorry if it was a bit too long. But like, I don't know. I needed to do it, you know? I needed to make myself a little milestone of like, hey, you did it, you know? So, now that I've looked like I've hit 30 minutes, sorry, hopefully, like, people will see this and find it helpful, and, you know, it'll be advice, because it does upset me to see other people fucking up and not sorting themselves out. It does upset me, because obviously I have been that person, and it's like, dude, you could sort yourself out, even to the degree where it's not affecting your family or your friends or your loved ones, whatever. It's still a massive step. And it might not be a mountain that you think it is. It might literally be a tiny little step. And it's weird how much better you'll feel for not feeling like you're hurting the people around you, you know? So yeah, hopefully you found this video useful. Like I said, I needed to make it. I just needed to. So, if you didn't like it, cool, whatever. If you did, thumbs up. Yeah. And I will, obviously all my, like, following stuff is below. Hopefully my audio didn't screw up with this new microphone. Sorry if it is a little bit rustly sometimes. I'm sure I'll notice that in editing. Hopefully it's not. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.